to the dead. 'Cause the voices in my head refuse to tell me what I wanna hear. Hold my feet to the fire, throw my car keys to the clothes. Save your sermon for the choir, 'cause I already know. I told my troubles to the wind, and I made myself clear. I need some divine intervention.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to church. I'm joined by my crew. I'm joined by my BP, Mr. Mean Jeans, and my prospect. What's up, bitch? No. What's up, Mr. Hickey?
Hi. I may as well sound like one if I'm going to be one, right? No, it's good to be here. Hey, we're having church on Sunday. I just realized that. How come this is the first time I realized that? Man.
We're 10 episodes in, and you're just realizing that.
No, but this is always fun. Oh, this is always fun. One of the highlights of the week for sure. Yes. And one of the best shows ever written. Come on.
Oh,
especially on FX. Good Lord. I mean,
FX, let's just do a quick shout out to FX, because, man, from when I was a kid and they were just basically showing any movie they could get their hands on to once they did Nip Tuck and Shield and, changed the way, cable drama, they pushed that line to the very limit with the nudity and how far you could go and everything. And they really have come to be one of the better TV show producing networks.
They really have, yeah.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello, Betty.
What up, Miss Betty?
Awesome job tonight, guys. By the way, I am going to go back and watch.
You better. That's part of your stuff that you got to do there, Mr.
Of
Mr.
my
Prospect.
obligations, of my duties.
All right, boys. So tonight we're discussing season 1, episode 10, Better Half. Wait, am I right? Yeah, I'm right.
No, number 9, isn't it?
9. I'm sorry. Look at me. No, and season 9, Hell Followed. I'm so pumped. This is the episode. They just have tried to take out Clay the episode prior.
Yeah.
This episode first aired October 28, 2008. Was written by Brett Conrad, directed by Billy Gerhardt.
Yeah.
Synopsis: Sam Crow plans retaliation on a rival biker club while dealing with a wounded Cameron Hayes in the clubhouse. Meanwhile, Jax, Bobby, and Opie aim to put an end to the gun debt for good.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great, but it's all right. It's a decent synopsis.
There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to that. We see the continuation of how Cone gets dealt with, pretty much, or how he gets after what had happened in the last prior episode of him being shot. What they do, Tara so we get Jax here. Gets rid of the body and doing his thing, and Tara. Didn't she think she wasn't going to go into work, or was she going to go into work?
I think she told him she was going to take a personal day or something. It started she was brushing her teeth. What's up?
What's up?
Is sure. It's kind of cool the way they just hopped right into this the morning after. We just talked about they basically their first night together in years was over a dead guy's body, literally over his body. I don't think he was going to have it the other way. But
No pun intended.
yeah, that was for Carrie right there. But yeah, we seen Jax basically getting rid of Cone, and Tara was sick. Like obviously, how could you not be? And I
Yeah.
think the plan was for her to take time off, and then she doesn't. She winds up, going into work.
So this is, and I brought this up last week, that I wanted to bring this up this week. One of the lines she used in last week's episode when he came to get that stuff right before Cone showed up was, "I couldn't take anything from St. David's inventory." The moment he says he's at the hospital, he goes to get her, he's like, the equipment you gave me last night, bullet wounds. He's got a bad infection. And the first thing Tara says is, "Okay, I'll take some stuff from here." I was like, that's what you...
I was like, yeah, I was with you. I'm like, didn't you just say if you're thinking about it as a day, okay? Didn't you just say
24
yesterday
hours.
to me that you couldn't do it, but now all of a sudden
Well, I mean,
it's okay?
things have changed since then, though. Obviously,
Yeah, he stuck her dick
in one day. Yeah.
we got to look at it like that, I guess. She's like, well, he did kind of murder a guy for me. So.
Murdered and took her to Pound Town.
Yeah.
Which let's be honest here. Pretty much every woman that has watched this show would kill to be Tara. And
excuse me, Mr. Hickey. I'm a man comfortable in my bisexuality, and I would gratefully change places with Tara Knowles.
L's alike. Sorry. Hey, myself.
This is hey Hickey. This is 2020 now. This is not.
I'm sorry, but Charlie Hunnam is gorgeous, and just not even just for like the looks. And I think his Australian voice is amazing, but it's his back. That back with the tattoo, the Sam Crow tat. Oh!
I should have said that, El President.
But this is really funny because for me,
he's a very attractive.
Clay in this episode. Clay shows why he's a good president, because he could have went ahead and created a big murder scene, but he decides to go the other way. And this is the first time I've ever you think of Clay. When you think of Clay, you think, oh yeah, he old school. So it's old school justice. We're going to get the whole, and we're just going to create big ass war and kill them all. But then he realizes, and he comes to form like, oh, he starts thinking ahead. He starts thinking, well, if we do this, how is it going to impact later on? So then he sits down and he takes church with the two that were trying to off him, and he works out a deal for everybody.
But okay, in this, was it really Clay looking, or Unser having to basically, don't do it in Charming, don't do it, it's not a good idea, don't do it, because the first 10 minutes, that's basic. The line that Clay says, "Oh, I heard you already. Your gosh damn angst is giving me cancer."
Yeah, that answer is like the unsung MVP of this episode. Like
series.
Well, of course the series, but this episode, after rewatching it, I love the line when he's saying, "Look, you're going to have to come down to the station." As Gene was just talking about, he basically has to cut deals with Darby. Well, I don't know if he's cutting a deal with Darby, but a lot of stuff.
He tells Darby what's what.
Yeah, he's basically getting info, kind of, but giving him something else at the same time, which is a beatdown. But before we get to that, though, one of my favorite lines of this entire show was, hey, I'm going down, I'm going to the station, whatever. And Tig is like, hey, you're not going along. And Unser looks at him like he hasn't been watching the club's back the entire time. And he said, I think I can handle them. This is right after he just, smoked a doobie. And he's like, it's for my cancer.
Yeah.
I have a card. And we see all the bikes coming in. I believe it's before that. I know they're at the window.
No, you're right. You're right on.
It was okay. And he's like, what the hell is this? What's going on?
Did you hear a word I said?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like the we'll say parent, I guess, or stepdad, like your ugly stepdad. I love Munster though.
Definitely, because at this point, and I had to say this much for it. You sort of have to admit to Unser coming up with this idea, but then with Clay going through with it, and also too, the Mayans had messed up technically.
Yeah.
It's like when they bring him in and Clay's still alive, and then Clay tells him, "Oh yeah, by the way, the other guy that you tried to off, he's still alive." It's like almost like, oh, and he gives up.
I mean, yeah, the Mayans fucked up. They did. It was a fuck up on their part, and I mean, Alvarez says it at one point. He's like, "But if it weren't for that fuck up, they wouldn't have gotten this." And it's still a very tumultuous relationship. But at this point, he's willing to sell them guns. And I mean, he gives up
return,
to jump.
In return, this plants the seeds, though. If you think about it, this episode right here plants the seeds for what we have now, which is the Mayan show.
Oh, so this was the start. Yeah, this was the start.
Without this episode,
I mean, Alvarez gives up a huge thing to make it right, and I mean, dude, I love Happy. I do. I think his character is amazing, but he's cold-blooded, and the crazy thing about it is Happy is the Hell's Angel. The person they brought on set to be the Hell's Angel person. Mm-hmm. Like, he was a Hell's Angel. He knows about it. He is the consultant for the show. So, man, that scene where he plants that knife in the back of his son's skull, Jesus, man.
That's so crazy. Like, I watched it with my dad, and I'm looking at my dad like this. Whoa. Like, you guys have kids. I'm like,
Isai. Yeah. And it was an ice pick.
Yeah.
Isai was the son. I cannot think of his son's name, but but he had to give up basically control to also. Okay, the Niners are still going to be getting weapons from. He made it known in there. He's like, I'm not saying I'm changing sides. If y'all want to kill each other over some heroin, go ahead. I'm offering you the same deal as I offered them. We're gonna go ahead and take our first commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about a huge portion of this episode that is sends tidal waves for episode after episode. Mm-hmm. This right here pretty much builds to your finale. So we're gonna talk about that. We'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I'm a legend, I ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Yeah, it's showtime, you can call me Rolex. Everybody wanna watch me. And I ain't never been second string, boy. I'm a reason why they came out. Yeah, all I do is go hard, best believe I ain't looking for no way out.
All I do is win. All I do is win. All I do is win. All I do is win.
Yeah. It's going down tonight. Woo. Yeah. It's going down tonight.
Guys, that is the Double XP. You can catch that on Wednesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern with Kay and Punisher. It's an amazing show if you haven't checked that out. And that is our newest show, The Boat with Gene and Batsy. That aired right before this show, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, every Sunday. So come catch our Sunday light night. Catch Gene on the boat and then catch Gene on here.
I'm everywhere.
Gene is Mr. Pinfall. Is that
He
true?
is. No, that's very fair to say. I'm going to make Gene a shirt. It's just going to say Mr. Pinfall because Gene literally is about to be hosting like 6 shows on a weekly basis. So
Gene, you are the face of the franchise.
There you go. Like Mr. Perfect was. I'm Mr. Pinfall. There's nobody's
Let's blow
perfect.
him up. I was thinking of that already. I was going to say your hair looks great tonight, but Batsy is the more beautiful.
Oh, definitely. She wins that one.
I'm sorry, Gene. I love you. You're adorable.
Adorable. I mean, how could you not love that adorable bearded face?
Exactly. Thank you.
But Batsy wins that one.
Batsy wins every time.
Hands down.
So we were talking about Clay gets out of jail. He tells the guys the agreement he's come up with. This is where Happy agrees to do the deed. This then leads to the party outside where they're talking to Clay that Cameron has told them, since he now can't, if they take out Brennan Hefner, he'll give them back the $200,000 that they had to come up with and give them a month free of guns. Huge deal. Huge deal for the club because they're struggling right now with the gun warehouse rebuild. Need this, but Clay makes a great point. Murder for hire, like that's a dirty business for anybody, especially a club. At this point, Opie is really have made the decision that he's jumping back in. He doesn't want to be chipping wood.
He's fully in, and they wanted a commitment. So what not to have a better way than this?
So he tells Bobby to make sure Oak pulls the trigger. After that,
well, don't forget now. Tara gets dragged into this via, as we already said, like she gets dragged in because they definitely need a doctor to save Buddy. And his ass shot.
Funny. Well, you mentioned the ass shot. Funniest scene. He wakes up and he asks Juice, "Where's your finger? Is your finger's in my ass?" Well, no, it's in your ass.
Yeah, he's trying to find a nice way of not saying it. It's like it's in the hole of your ass, but your finger's in his ass. You got a finger in your ass.
When Tara finally shows up and they're giving him the antibiotics, and he's like, "You Irish, Doc?" And she's like half. And he says, the half that's a doctor. I laugh at that every time.
While the guy's on his deathbed, he's like, "You should find that out or whatever."
That's good to know.
That's good. That's a good thing to know. I love Juice's face when Tara's basically like he's waiting for that pat on the back. Right?
Well, no, I truly think the face was he wasn't expecting it because Gemma says that at this point Juice doesn't get a lot of praise. He's a member, but he's very much a grunt. At this point, I would say he's probably only been a member for a year or two. Probably had not been with the club very long. But I say that
step above half right?
I say that though. But if you look at the wall of all the guys that were arrested when they got arrested 7 years prior, his face is on that wall. So we don't really know. But when Tara gives him that compliment, you can just tell like. You saved his life. That meant the world to that dude. I love that scene. I think that's a great scene. And even Gemma to recognize it and been like, that was really sweet what you did to him. That was a great scene. All of that leading up to the next day, Jax, Bobby, and Opie. You first got to talk about Opie and Jax in the garage. And Jax, you can really tell Jax doesn't think this is right for him.
No.
I kind of understand where he's coming from here. Opie hasn't been full in a while. Hit like this is a different kind of task.
Right. Something he's not used to.
Something he's not used to, which he might have done before, but at this point, he's not done it at least in 5 or 6 years because he's been in jail for 5 years.
That's right.
It's like, I know they say it's like riding a bike, right? Well, I don't know if murder is. I've never been with anyone, but once you do it, it's like riding a bicycle. If you ever rode a bicycle in 5 or 6 years, it's going to be weird the first time, right? Or driving. I can speak on that with driving. The first time I drove in like 3 years, I was like, oh my God, this is strange. So I imagine murder's the same thing. I don't know who to ask. Maybe Happy, but.
So they get to the hotel. Bobby says, Ope, you take the front. Jax, you stay at the car. Which truly, I realize Jax is trying to protect him. But it gets kind of brought up more. But from the I can't think of his name. The guy with the hands, the jerk-off guy. Jerky man.
I just, what is his name? I always called him Jerky guy. Isn't it? Okay. It's not Wayne. It's not Wayne, is it? It starts with a W, I think.
I cannot think of it, but Jerky man.
Now it's Jerky.
And whenever they need a getaway guy, Jax is always the driver. He always is. He just I like to say that I'd be a good giveaway driver. I drive very offensively.
Well, a good getaway driver is somebody who doesn't bring attention onto themselves.
It depends on the kind of getaway you're driving.
Yeah,
I'm that getaway driver where the mom.
If there's guns firing, you're going to be pedal to the metal. If there's no guns firing, and you're trying to be auspicious.
But so, and what we thought was gonna, or what Jax thought was gonna happen. He couldn't take the shot. Bobby took the shot.
Yeah.
What I love, and we're gonna talk about this scene more in depth. But what I love about this is when they get back to the clubhouse. Bobby protects Ope.
Yep.
He doesn't tell Clay that he didn't take the shot.
Nope.
He tells him that he's good.
It went down just the way you thought it. The way planned.
And we talked about this last week. Bobby the thing I love about Bobby is he loves the club.
Yeah.
He has a huge heart for this club and every member in it, and he will do whatever it takes to protect the club.
Mm-hmm. And Opie's good for the club.
Opie is good for the club.
At this point, you don't look at it. I think Bobby looked at it as Opie's good for the club. He ain't going to do the club wrong. And if he's really, really down to get something done, Opie will do it. So at this point, it was that's why Bobby said, oh, yeah, he did it. Because he knows where Opie's at. He knows that Opie needs this. So he's not going to fail him.
And it shows the trust that he has in these guys, Jax and Bobby. We spoke about this before. This is his family, legit, like his brothers when they say brothers. Well, and I think they look at him as almost like an older brother, bigger brother, big brother. And this kind of proves it again, what we were just talking about.
And again, we don't like to give spoilers on this show, but Bobby is constantly. He is one of the major glues for this club. He's constantly fighting to keep the club glued to the very end. And so back to this scene. As I said before we went to break, actually, you know what? We're going to take one more commercial break because I want to do this conversation with no break. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
I'm the same dude y'all read about, the same tool y'all need it now. We came through, not leaving now, and these lame dudes, we beat them out. No stopping this, ain't my way, might pop your lip. Ain't saying this awesomeness, but y'all looking like the opposite. We setting the bar, y'all know who we are.
We're making history, leaving a legacy, nothing is stopping me. Better believe what we see, we're making history.
That's a really good podcast, guys. You can catch that every other Tuesday. You got to get all fancy for that intro,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Gene
Me
with
and
his
Kay,
proton.
me and Kay worked really hard on that one. That's the only one that I will take claim to. G does all our intros, but me and Kay worked really hard on that one. And I tell you, that little flicky reel at the end, that thing took us like 2 hours to do.
Oh, don't worry. I know the pressure and the feel for that. And then prior to that, the other one was our flagship show, good old Paradigm Shift. You can catch me, Josh,
Paradigm Shift.
Will,
This
TDC.
week we'll be discussing the Attitude Era and as a whole, because we had a little discussion about it last week on some things, and we really want to dive into it because there's been some discussions. Was the Attitude Era really as good as everybody thinks it is?
Mhm.
Really? So tune into the Paradigm Shift on. Well, turn into the Paradigm Shift to find out the rest of that answer.
That's right.
All right. So as we were talking, this episode really brings us in and is a catalyst to the finale with the murder of Brennan Hefner. But how would you... Did you think it was going to be such a polarizing thing when it happened? I guess is the question.
Well, also the shooting, and then right after that we watch Cone get burned, and you see Jack's about to throw away.
Does throw away
the entire, the diary, but he doesn't let it burn. He, just as it starts to burn, he pulls it back out, because it's almost like those things coincide. To think about it, it's at that point where Jack starts thinking, maybe I can do this on my own. I've got enough information. I've been following the blueprint his dad left him and everything. Okay, I've got this idea. I don't really need this. Maybe I can strike it out on my own. It showcases how everybody still they're still collared. They still got a crutch that they lean on. Like where Clay's is all about the money and making sure that his reputation is the reputation in charming. Bobby always protecting and always looking after the club itself. Jack's really thinking futures ahead, but at the same time, like wanting to do his old man proud. Ope just wants to be, a part of something and wants to feel appreciated. Like all these things all coincide in those scenes, the death and then the watching of the body burn.
I think it speaks to Jack's character and where he's at right now. Like him and Tara obviously kind of rekindling, we think, their relationship. She talked to Gemma previously. She doesn't even know what this is at this point. She's not an old lady. She's not one of the girls trying to get in the club. She's tart. Yeah.
Because of this, Jax really does tell her, like he tells her that sick feeling is gone. He's never killed someone like this before. Mm-hmm. And he really tells her, don't go anywhere. And this is another thing, and we'll talk about this in a couple more episodes, but it's another time where Miss Tara doesn't stick to her word, like with the tools that she took from the hospital. No,
we catch little things like that. They're writers. We catch little things like that.
That's our jobs.
Yeah.
So
I just want to throw it out here. We're like the Karens of the TV world. We pick those things up, Mr. Manager. We want to speak to your manager. No.
Don't ever do that again, Gene. Don't ever do that again.
In both bad and good ways, maybe. I don't know.
And then you get the montage scene. So we got another montage scene. The song played was, I'm trying to pull it up.
DCR.
It was an instrumental of Fortune's Son by Lyle Workman and the Forest Rangers. Mm-hmm. And I agree. One of my all-time favorite bands, Mr. Hickey, Miss CCR.
Yes.
I used to listen to Proud Mary with my grandfather all the time. I can't listen to it now without tearing.
Right.
Awesome. But it's a great song. They're just an amazing
Oh, it
band.
is. It's a phenomenal song.
They
Little-
It was it's funny. I'll just go throw a little segue into that. My mom fought with me the whole entire time that song was originally Tina Turner's. I said no, Tina Turner covered. It's a CCR, and she goes, no, it isn't. She looked it up. She goes, oh my God, you're right. I'm like, yeah, see. So
this website I use gives a little notes, and I noticed the title of this episode is from Revelation 6:8.
Yep.
And I find this really funny because this exact quote, y'all both know West Wing is one of my favorite shows. This exact verse is in one of the first episodes. And it says, and I looked and beheld a pale horse, and his name, and the name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. I'm not the most Bible person, but that scripture always gives me chills.
that is the foretelling of the final horseman, death, and the start of the apocalypse. Yes,
Yeah.
I do dabble in biblical stuff, so don't worry. Yeah.
The name of that passage is the coming of the horseman. So, so before we get out of here, what y'all think of this episode?
Oh, it's A+. It's A+ from like you just said. I wanted to say it's in Tombstone also, one of my favorite. It's a Western. I don't care. Josh Prey. I just watched Josh Prey's.
I love Josh Prey.
Love Josh.
You got to check the Tombstone. Him watching Tombstone. But it's in Tombstone, that same verse of Revelation. But anyway, I think it's knocked out of the park. You know, like you said, the relationship we're seeing between the questions Gemma has for Tara. Are you down? Are you here for? Are you here for good? What's going to happen? How are you going to be a doctor through the day and an old lady on the weekend, basically through a week? And those are very real questions. I mean, we know the type of person, we know the character Gemma is, but these are legitimate concerns I think she has for.
Well, it's not just Jax. At this point, Abel is home. It's not just him. He's got a son. He's got a kid.
That's right.
He's divorced from Wendy, obviously, and that.
And I mean, has Wendy came back yet? Has that already happened? No, that's about to happen.
Is she in rehab? I think she's in rehab.
Yeah,
she's in rehab.
She's in the rehab section.
So I'm sorry. I've watched so much of this show; it all kinds of blurs together.
It does.
Runs together. You forget.
Great episode is, and like I said, really starts us towards the finale of this season. And one of my
it's guiding that compass towards the end, and that's another thing we want to talk about. Now we have an episode coming up. You know that we normally do these episode by episode every Sunday, so we have one more coming up this Sunday.
Two more. So
two
we
more.
have
that's right.
Episode 10 and 11 coming up. And then we were talking before this, because of everything that happened with Mania and GM being out and our internet's being out, we were trying to figure out how to get back on track. So we have decided that our final episodes 12 and 13, will be a two-hour episode. We're going to talk about both episodes right here on the show. Because of the way those episodes work, I think it'll be great. Oh, Mr. Randall, look at that beautiful baby! Look at a beautiful baby!
Yes. And I hope everything's going well. I hope she's out of the NICU, and I hope all the health and everything. Please, I hope everything's good with what's going on there, Mr. Randall. So
sending love from Pinball, Mr. Randall.
Yes. There was a picture of his wife and the beautiful. They were so.
Yeah, there's been some complications throughout this entire thing, and we're just sending our prayers and love your way, Mr. Randall.
Let's say a little more good news to Mr. Randall too. Congratulations, Mr. Randall is now a certified trained professional wrestler.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's graduated at wrestling school, And we're so proud of Mr. Randall, and he is just doing great things. Still our EVP.
Why am I about to tear up right now?
Oh,
I know.
The panty dropper.
I'll put it to you this way. I'll cut it out. I cut it out as a wrestling promo. There will be no hard times for the Randall family. He is now a professional wrestler. He is our EVP. He is doing everything he can to strive and provide with food on the table.
For his 5. Read them 5 kids. Man is braver than me.
The penny drop.
The man is just like no. The man is just like the new guy the new episode that happened on Dark Side of the Ring, Mr. Flying Brian Pillman. So,
but guys, so yeah, we got 2 more episodes, and then we will do our finale, 2 parts, 12 and 13, all at once. So make sure you check that out. And we're gonna take one last commercial break and get out of here, guys. We'll be right back.
Up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's not to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go. Gonna go and take it over. You call us King Kong. Here we come, running through the door. Don't wait long, don't blink.
Dude, I gotta tell you, Gene, those new intros you've done, like every one of them just gets me so pumped. They all have something I love about them. Like that one, I love the clap. The one you did for the boat, when the sound drops out and it just goes ding every time I catch myself, just ding.
I was sitting here shaking my head too. I don't know if you guys were.
I could see it.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting over here.
Yeah, the sports report, like Will says, if that don't get you moving, I don't know what will. Yeah. So you better be checking the sports report every Monday at 10 o'clock Central Time.
One gripe that I have is it's all Gene's teams. Did you notice that?
It's not. Actually, he did a really good job. He's got my football, basketball, and the only thing he didn't put my team in was he didn't do any teams for baseball. But that's fine.
I was looking for baseball. I was like, I know the Blue Jays are coming. I know.
No, I didn't. I honestly, we didn't have a baseball guy at the time. Now we do. Seven's going to be showing up this week. But awesome. The teams for the football, they're everybody's team. You know, you got the Saints.
He even showed the Saints, and he even showed Tommy's team as far as hockey. So
the Blues. The Blues are there. You got the Blues.
Definitive though is what I should say. There's a that's what I should.
Hey. I love the Panthers. They're going to show up there. I love the Toronto Raptors. They're going to show up there. I love the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're going to show up there.
He is the creator. That's the
shtick.
That's my shtick. That's my thing. Canadian. I
love it.
I just didn't want to saturate with just like by the end. I didn't want to saturate where you just seen the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do we have to see the Toronto Blue Jays? Like even though they are kicking butt in the MLB, I do know that. Yeah, they're winning some good games.
They're doing good. They're doing really good, actually.
Well, we appreciate you coming by, sir. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
But guys, that is this week's episode. Make sure you check out everything we got coming to Pinfall. We've got a couple of new shows still to drop this month. They're going to be really exciting, so make sure you stay tuned.
I'm still anticipating this Hooded Warriors eat St. Louis. That's going to be funny as heck. TDC, Chris Champion on one screen, always funny.
And TDC just getting is medicated and before.
I want to see him eat till he throws up. Don't you guys? I mean, that's what I'm waiting for. I don't know.
Probably will at one point or another. I'm just saying.
There will be a show,
like,
but
we've literally had to say that we're only doing an episode a month because the cost of the food, the filming, all of it. Like, I told between that and his new Outbreak title, I told Revolution WGP they get no more firework budget, no more corn dogs.
Well, you gotta admit one thing. We finally equaled out the firework budget. There is fireworks for almost everybody's show now.
Yeah,
If you haven't noticed in the intros, we finally worked that out. So not everybody not just one show has fireworks.
I forked out for those fireworks. Let me just
Hey,
say.
we even have fireworks when the show goes out. There will be fireworks at the end telling you thank you for watching. So you know what I mean.
So, guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the Sports Report with G, Tony C, Will, and Seven. It's going to be a great time. And we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a great week, guys.
Peace.